Wilson Namofaye, and this is your Frontier Opening Bell. Welcome everyone to the show, the 10th day of October. We're just moving on. Time flies, roughly the middle of the month already, and that's the final quarter of the year. So the first month, as it were. So let's just get on to track the markets. For you, as always, just give you snippets of how the key markets will cover. Finished the day earlier. The Nigerian market was down 0.1% yesterday. The Naira was down as well, 1,625 on the US dollar. And of course, you've heard the news about the increase in petrol prices by the State Oil Corporation. That's causing a lot of vehicular traffic. Things are moving very tight for Nigerians right now. Folks are lamenting, as it were. Yesterday, the central bank also conducted its weekly primary market auction for treasury bills. Yields declined briefly across the three tenured instruments that is financial regulator sold to market dealers. You got the big names in the banking and non-banking names down yesterday. Flamis of Nigeria, Northern Nigerian Flamis, so the biggest names in consumer goods. Fidelity Bank, UBA shares was down yesterday. Sterling Bank down by 2.6. FBN Holdings was down 1.73%. You have Oando down by 3.45% in the oil and gas sector, despite the news that the company, the Nigerian ERP company, is making headways as far as Trinidad and Tobago's petroleum refinery is concerned in the Caribbean. Skip that in mind. Nigerian brewery saw 14.5 million units of its shares traded on the NGX on Wednesday. The largest brewer by market value is concluding tomorrow, Friday, is 600 billion naira rights offer to existing shareholders. So got a lot of trading activities at the second window piling into that particular stock. Let's get out of there and move to the BRVM. The composite in Cote d'Ivoire was down by 15 basis points. The Ghana stock market was flat, 43.45 on the main index. The Egyptian market came back roaring 1.05% in Cairo just one day, which is today before the start of the weekend, 31,175, grabbing that back from the BS as it were. The Nairobi market was up 0.1%. And of course, you have the GSE down by 18 basis points, 85,336. That's just the summary on the equity side. What else do we have in the headlines as we get started in the week? Kenya is looking to stop the sale of electricity in US dollars. So that's the latest from the country's electricity industry regulator. In the meantime, the country looking to settle roughly 1.6 billion shillings belonging to Posta. That's the Posta agencies looking to settle that. A couple of these state-owned agencies got a lot of debt on their books, Posta, Kenya Airways, and a couple of others. It looks like a familiar story for a number of African utilities or state-owned enterprises from Egypt to South Africa to Nigeria and elsewhere. In the meantime, the Uganda's Electricity Distribution Company Limited says it's going to take over the distribution of electricity in western part of the country, while Ethiopia has raised retail fuel prices by up to 8 birr per litre. Now, this is sounding a little bit familiar with the whole currency flotation that Ethiopia did recently. Egypt also saw inflation up yesterday strongly, of course, on the back of the fuel subsidy that was also removed in the North African economy. Nigeria is reeling seriously in that since May 29th last year. So what's all this about subsidy removal, currency flotation, and suddenly you've got to deal with a full price hike? South Africa, however, seems to be an exception with a decline, lower rate for pen price for South Africans. But let's move on to West Africa with Nigeria's petrol prices now in everyone's crosshairs, 1,035 in some parts of the country as we speak. Keep your eye open next week for the October 17th release of the World Bank first half of 2024 report update on Nigeria's state of the economy. That's coming through online, and we'll be covering that for you here on Frontier Africa Reports. The NESD over-the-counter Securities Exchange in Nigeria says it will formally suspend trading in the shares of Aradel Holdings, an oil and gas company listed on the OTC, effective from tomorrow, because the shareholders of the company approved a self-delisting of this company from the NESD OTC exchange. In neighboring Liberia, the country is preparing for the dry season just around the corner. So it's looking to get about 50 megawatts of electricity run through Cote d'Ivoire into Liberia and that is coming from Ghana. Then, of course, additional 20 megawatts, Liberia says is looking forward to get from Guinea, from the other side. So east-west corridor of the West Africa, Liberia is trying to get as much electricity as it can get to mitigate the impact of the dry season just around the corner. In Cameroon, bonds drop as investors weigh political stability risk. With the latest news coming through, the aged president, 91-year-old Paul Biya, is still alive in France. Okay, let's check in with the Southern Africa. Zimbabwe has hired some of the biggest international investment advisors to help it hold the discussions around the $21 billion debt talks that is going to take place soon, just as the country gets ready for the mission visit of the International Monetary Fund. And of course, we got news this morning that the Africa Finance Corporation hosted a team of Zimbabwean officials in Lagos, the headquarters of the Africa Finance Corporation, to submit the papers for membership of the AFC from Zimbabwe. Congratulations in just joining the list of African sovereigns putting their weight behind the Africa Finance Corporation. That's specialized organization set up to support private sector infrastructure fund mobilization across Africa. In the meantime, the African Oil Week 3-day conference come to an end later today. But the main focus for the African Petroleum Producers Association Organization, the APPO, Secretary General Dr. Farouk Ibrahim, was the new $5 billion African Energy Bank. He told the conference on Wednesday that at least 45% of the initial $5 billion capital has been raised, asking other countries within the continent to pay up so that we can get this organization, specialized financial institution running, which will be headquartered in Nigeria. And Mondi PLC, listed on the GSE, says it's looking to buy part of the operations of a Schumacher packaging company in South Africa. Nedbank of Namibia says it's raised $250,000 Namibian to assist farmers in the country as they face impact of a climate change within the Southern African economy. And two of the world's largest shipping companies, Maersk Line and Hapag-Lloyd, says they will continue to route their vessels through the Horn of Cape, the southern corridor tip of South Africa, well into 2025, because the crisis around the Red Sea, originating from the Middle East crisis between Iran, Israel, Lebanon, as well as the Yemen Houthis attacking vessels around the Red Sea corridor, is yet to abate. The cost of the insurance and other risks within that corridor is ongoing. So there's going to be more delay as a longer route for these vessels to go around the Horn of Cape in South Africa to get to their various destinations, globally speaking. Let's wrap it up in North Africa with Egypt reporting inflation, headline inflation at 26% for the month of September, because there's a whole lot of a pressure, a pullback from the subsidy that's been removed. The food prices, as well as transportation and other services, those costs are rising. Egypt's Suez Canal is also reporting a dip in revenue, 60%. Ship traffic down 49% year to date because of the Middle East crisis and around the Red Sea. And I just talked about that. As far as Maersk Line, Hapag-Lloyd, and others are concerned, those international shipping companies are avoiding the Red Sea route, and that is impacting on Egypt Suez Canal. Looks like the numbers are going to come in very brutal at the end of the year for this very iconic company in the logistics business for Egypt. In the meantime, Egypt is looking to get a whole lot more into the green hydrogen project. So it's getting about 30 million euros support from Germany. But not only Egypt, Morocco is also moving forward, looking to create more than 30,000 new jobs within the green hydrogen revolution that Morocco is looking to also take to the next level. So between Egypt and Morocco, the whole focus on green hydrogen is on. The race for green hydrogen project is on. And finally, still in the energy space, Libya oil revival is piling pressure on the European Union crude markets. Libya is back with about 1 million barrels per day after those force majeure were declared on the back of the wrangling over who becomes the country's next central bank governor and the board of that financial regulator. Those are your headlines this Thursday as we head towards the weekend tomorrow, the 11th of October. Today's the 10th, Thursday, by the way. Do have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the day. And goodbye for now.